Xander, why don't we bring this gentleman on here, my longtime colleague and the senior correspondent for ESPN, and the coming winner or the recipient of the Dick Vermeil Lifetime Achievement Award, which will be given to Sal at the 25th annual banquet of the Otho Davis Scholarship Foundation on November 1st. That's Sal Paolantonio. Congratulations to you, Sal.
Hey, Pat. It's great to be honored like that and to be in the same company with Dave Montgomery, the former late chairman and president of the Phillies, and Dr. Gary Dorsheimer. He was a Flyers doctor for years and years and years and still is. And, of course, Merrill Reese and Ron Jaworski and Ray Didinger. To be in that company is pretty darn good. So I'm excited. My family is excited. I hope you're going to bring the Mrs. Pat. We're looking forward to having you.
Looking forward to being there, certainly. I would, and anybody who might be interested, it's Wednesday, November 1st at the Marriott Old City. And so please check it out. And
that you go to orthodavis.org, foundation.org, and donate some money. It's a great cause. This is the 25th annual banquet, what we call, Pat, Philly football night in Philadelphia. So it's a great event. And they're honoring the 15th anniversary of the championship Phillies of 2008. So lot of stuff going on that night.
Very good. All right, Sal, let's talk a little football here. The Eagles Monday night travel to 2-0 Tampa Bay. I think everybody's surprised about that. But that Tampa beating a Minnesota team that just wasn't ready to play, and then beating a Chicago team that I don't think Sal is ever going to be ready to play. But have we underrated the Tampa Bay Bucs? And should the Eagles go in there with a sense that they're in for a game?
Oh, they're going to be in for a fight. So the Eagles have struggled to win there many years in a row now, and they're going to struggle to win on Monday night for two specific reasons. One, Baker Mayfield has not turned the ball over. The number one indicator of a quarterback's ability to win football games or a team to win football games is the quarterback turning the ball over, and Baker Mayfield is not doing that. And it's very tough to get off the field on third down, Pat. He's 20 of 23 for 201 yards and 3 touchdowns on third down alone. On the money down, Baker Mayfield has been a machine. I went down to Tampa this summer and I interviewed him one-on-one. We've had a lot of that on the air. Some of it's going to run this week and on Monday Night Football. I've always thought he was a tough competitor. You hear Sean Desai, the defensive coordinator of the Eagles, talk about Baker Mayfield in his press conference today or yesterday at NovaCare, and the way he's playing right now, when you look at him on film, tough to get down, tough to sack. Looks like he's obviously he's on a 1-year motivated deal.
Yeah.
And the guy he's throwing to, Mike Evans, is also motivated for that next contract because the Bucs have failed to pay him.
Right. Well, he's motivated as hell, Sal. Mike Evans is unstoppable after the first 2 weeks.
After the first 2 weeks, he's always been unstoppable, Pat. Look, Mike Evans, right now, he's 8th on the active pass receiver list in the National Football League, and he has only 81 touchdowns, second only to Devontae Adams is 87 of active players at the wide receiver position, over 10,000 yards received. Mike Evans is going to the Hall of Fame. I'm on the Hall of Fame selection committee. You know that. Yeah. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But in the meantime, he's terrorizing people. And where does he make his money?
Yeah.
Over the middle.
Yeah.
And where have the Eagles struggled in the pass defense?
Yeah.
Over the middle. And who are they missing in this game?
Yeah.
Avonte Maddox.
Yeah.
Going to be tough, Pat.
Sal, you did mention though that the Bucs like the blitz. They very much like the blitz, and Todd Bowles, old Temple man, he likes to bring the blitz. But the Eagles have a very good prescription to defeat that, and that is, as they demonstrated Monday night against Minnesota, they run the ball. They run the ball extremely well, and nothing, I think, Sal, puts the defense more on its heels than the ability than 2nd and 3 and 2nd and 2, which is what the Eagles were specializing in Monday night.
Yeah, we were talking about the Eagles defense. Let's talk about the Eagles offense. Todd Blitz as the number 3 blitzing team in the league right now. They will get after the quarterback early and often. The Eagles offensive line is very good, but as you mentioned, there are two ways for the quarterback and the coaching staff to mitigate the blitz. One is quickly designed running a passing play so Jalen Hurts can get the ball out of his hands quickly. And two, run the football right at the pass rushers. That's the way they have reduced Micah Parsons' effectiveness at rushing the passer when they play Dallas. They run right at him.
Right.
So run right at the best pass rushers of the Bucs, and that's the recipe for winning this football game.
Right.
Pass plays that are designed to get the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands quickly, because you watch Jalen Hurts this year. The passing game has been very slow to develop.
Right.
And he has been very slow to pull the trigger on the football.
Right.
And he can't do that in this game.
All right. All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I think I don't see why they wouldn't emphasize the run again. We'll see if DeAndre Swift can be consistent over a couple weeks. I also want to mention Sal was right as usual. The Bucs have won the last 3 games in this series, going back to 2015, and the overall series is tied 8-8. Subliminally, you would think the Eagles would have the edge, but they don't. So,
they don't. You know, it's first of all, it's tough to win early in the season there because of the heat and humidity.
Yeah.
It'll be a lot less on Monday night.
Right.
But, you know, we all remember first play, 72-yard bomb to Deshaun. Maybe it's 75. I have to check that. It was 72 or 75-yard bomb to Deshaun Jackson from Ryan Fitzpatrick of all people.
Yeah, I was going to say, you mentioned Mike Evans, and you're right. Evans should be in the Hall of Fame because aside from Tom Brady, he's not exactly had a Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks down there at Tampa.
No.
He's made them all look pretty damn good, the ones.
Yeah. And he's making Baker Mayfield look good right now.
He is. That doesn't help. That doesn't hurt. All right, listen, we get back here. Sal Pao is staying with us. I'm going to talk to him about the bad news the Dallas Cowboys got today. We're going to look at some 0-2 teams and who they're facing, and we're going to talk about some ugly quarterbacking. That's all next on This Week in Pro Football. Welcome back to This Week in Pro Football. Pat Callahan, joined by Sal Paolantonio. This Week in Pro Football presented by the good folks at Kennedy Ford, and Sal Pao presented by the great folks at First Bank of New Jersey. All right, Sal Pao, talked about that Eagles game. Let me wander around the NFL with you right now, starting in Dallas. Terrible, terrible news today. Trayvon Diggs apparently has torn his ACL in practice and is lost for the season. Tell me what effect you think that has on the postseason prospects of the Cowboys.
Oh, we're going all the way to the postseason. Let's just, it's a devastating loss. He's a wonderful player, super tough, super smart, very productive, takes the ball away like nobody else in the NFL. Dallas is going to definitely miss him, just like the Eagles are going to be missing Avonte Maddox. I mean, the injuries are all over the place in the National Football League, as we always see the first couple of weeks.
Right.
Teams are back on the field. They're not used to getting hit. They're not used to the pace of things.
Yeah.
And there are injuries. Now, I don't know what happened in this particular case, but, you know, you never like to see players get injured.
But Sal, you bring it up and doesn't it nag at you? Because you're right. It does seem to be happening each year, and it does seem to be happening in direct inverse proportion to how little everybody's playing in the preseason. And
there's no question about that. It's got to be a provable theory that these players who are not playing in the preseason are not used to the action and how fast it is and the wear and tear on their bodies. I mean, for me, one guy who should not have been on the field is Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they really risked losing Joe Burrow for long stretches of time and hurt their chances of going to the playoffs in Cincinnati by putting him out there with that bad calf strain. But, players want to play. I get it. But, you got to protect these guys from themselves sometimes.
That calf strain is awful close to the Achilles. You can just see it. The Bengals. But there you go. The Bengals, though, Sal, one of those teams that sit in an 0-2.
And the Bengals are in real trouble, Pat. Real trouble.
So, Xander, if you can bring up that Week 3 schedule, what I want to do, Sal, is concentrate on these 0-2 teams
Okay, let's start. Let's go rat-a-tat-tat. What do you got? Go through.
Well, I got, for instance, I have the 0-2 Chargers at the 0-2 Vikings. Now, this is basically a play-out game. I mean, I think whoever loses this game is in serious trouble towards postseason. How do you see this game?
Oh, if the Chargers lose, they're done.
Yeah.
You can't be 0-3 in the AFC. Can't happen. It's too competitive.
Yeah.
Vikings could survive 0-3, but it'll be very difficult.
Yeah, you're right. I think the Vikings would still have a path for the division title because it's not a strong division right now. South New England, off 2 home losses, now goes to the Jets to face Zach Wilson. Luckily for them, not Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts on this 0-2 Pats team?
Well, if Bill Belichick cannot beat Zach Wilson and what the Jets have been putting out there on offense in the last 2 games, then we have to question where Bill Belichick is as a head coach and where this football team is. Right. So this is not only for the season of the Patriots, it is for going forward as Belichick as the head coach of the team, in my view. I realize he's 19 away from surpassing Don Shula.
Right.
He's been playing 500 ball the last 2 years without Brady.
Right.
But I don't see them going 500 if they lose to the Jets on Sunday. So now the Robert Kraft, they will get 6 wins. What does Robert Kraft do at the end of the year? Radio talk show hosts are already calling for Belichick to be fired right now.
I think the Patriots they've not invested in the skill position. The free agent signings that they have made, Sal, have not worked for them. I'm talking about at the skill positions. And when Kendrick Bourne is your wide receiver 1, you are at a severe disadvantage relative to a lot of the rest of the AFC. And you can't hide it. I
covered that game last year in New England. And the Jets lost the game on a punt return for a touchdown, walk-off punt return for a touchdown at the end of the game. They struggled to beat Zach Wilson in that game.
Yeah.
After the game, Wilson was benched because not how bad he played because of his attitude in the locker room post-game. I mean, the Patriots got lucky. That was a punt return that had a block in the back that wasn't called. I'm going to say it again. If Bill Belichick can't beat Zach Wilson and this Jets offense in this game, then a lot of questions will be raised. A lot. Legitimate questions.
So the last 0-2 team I wanted to get your opinion on was the Denver Broncos. Now, Denver lost a bad game to Washington last week, even though they almost pulled it off at the end with a 2-point conversion. But a lot of expectations in Denver. Sean Payton he's not making petty cash out there. He was brought in to turn Russell Wilson and that franchise around, not off to a good start. Now they go to Miami to face the very, very, very good 2-0 Dolphins.
Well, they got to win a football game, and they're not going to win this week, so they can forget about that. They're going to start 0-3. And that's really going to put a nail in the coffin, I think, for Denver's postseason hopes. Again, because the AFC is so competitive. Now, it's not as competitive as we thought it would be because the Chargers have been awful.
Right.
The Jets lost Aaron Rodgers. The Bengals are playing with a quarterback who's playing on one leg right now.
Right.
Pittsburgh has been up and down. It probably should have lost. Deshaun Watson, I don't know where he is as a quarterback. Jim Schwartz can only win so many games in Cleveland. But Miami is much, much better. Yeah. Kansas City is going to get healthy.
Yeah.
Baltimore is going to be a tough out all year long.
They always are. They always are.
They always are.
Yeah.
So,
right. But now
you can't go 0-3, Pat, in that conference. You just can't.
All right, Sal, again, you segued very nicely into what else I want to talk about. Xander, you can get rid of that. Thank you very much. Sal, the quarterbacks. I mentioned to you, we talked during the week, and Sal is always kind enough to give me the fabulous NFL record and fact book here. Sal, I added up. I can name you 9 quarterbacks in the NFL, not bad ones either. Jalen Hurts, Tua, Joe Burrow, Kenny Pickett, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields. 9 starters who combined have less wins than Aaron Rodgers career-wise. The NFL, Sal, I think, has a quarterback experience problem. Do you agree? Is the NFL right now too inexperienced at quarterback?
Well, they have a number of issues at the quarterback position. Inexperience is definitely on the list, Pat. The number one thing I think is quarterback development. And in college, they use a lot of spread offense, no huddle.
Exactly right.
Where everything is dictated from the sideline.
Right.
That's a hard game to play at the NFL level. Why? Because every defensive end is a first-round pick.
Right.
Every corner is a first-round pick.
Right.
They're super tough, super smart, super fast, and they're coming for your quarterback.
Right.
So it's very tough to transition from the college game. Look what's going on with Justin Fields. Plus, some of these quarterbacks are put into the wrong system. Justin Fields should not be a drop-back quarterback in the NFL. He was a tremendous dual-threat quarterback. They decided to put him in the pocket. I don't know why.
Right.
Some quarterbacks have struggled big time. Deshaun Watson can't get his footing in Cleveland. Mac Jones can't get his footing in New England.
Right.
These were guys who everybody thought was going to be the savior of a franchise. So there are a lot of reasons, but most of them have to do with injury. Remember, 68 quarterbacks started a game last year, Pat. That's the most ever in the NFL, 68. And you look at the top active passers in the NFL. Pat, look up. I got my record and fact book right here, too.
Okay.
Page 27, Pat. Patrick Mahomes, okay? Without Travis Kelce, who is Patrick Mahomes?
Right.
Aaron Rodgers injured.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, number 3 on the list,
Yeah.
playing poorly.
He
Joe
is.
Burrow, injured. Russell Wilson, playing poorly.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo, yikes, what are we doing?
I know.
Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, playing poorly. Of the Justin Herbert, number 10, of the top 10 quarterbacks on the active list, you got 3 of them that are playing well. 3 out of 10.
Yeah, that's right. And you mentioned just Justin Fields, and you said he's in the wrong system, which is true. But I posit to you, Sal, that the running quarterback threat in the NFL is just not going to last. It will not last. Especially someone built like Justin Fields. Another great example, Anthony Richardson. Did you see the shot he took when he ran that second touchdown in for Indianapolis last week? He almost got knocked out of the state of Indiana. And so I think the teams that are going to try, Lamar's another good example. He misses 2 to 3 games every single year. I think, as you said, the college game is not creating Aaron Rodgers type guys or Tom Brady type guys anymore. They're creating Justin Fields and Anthony Richardson type guys, and there's just too many good defensive players in the NFL for them to make that transition.
Well, it's not monolithic. Let me say this. You need a dual threat quarterback in the NFL because the corners and the pass rushers are too fast. They got to be able to get out of the way of the rush. But you don't want the running quarterback to be the focal point of your offense for 2 reasons. 1, points come out of the passing game, as Ron Jaworski banged into my head for years on a matchup show. And 2, as you mentioned, they get hurt. Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts got hurt. Tua, Anthony Richardson, the young man Anthony Richardson. C.J. Stroud is already banged up.
Right.
Lamar Jackson missed 3 games last year. You don't want it to be the focal point of what you do.
Yeah.
But you got to have a guy who can get out of the way of the rush.
That's fair. That is entirely fair.
Not monolithic. The answer is not an easy one.
No, but it's I think it's more of a problem than the NFL's thinking about in terms of. I think the quarterback play has been very sloppy.
Look at Patrick Mahomes. He almost didn't make it through the Super Bowl.
That's right.
And he doesn't run.
Yeah.
As there are no design runs that Andy Reid puts in for Patrick Mahomes. Right. Maybe a couple.
Yeah.
But he can do things off schedule, second reaction throws. As the skiers like to say, off piste. He can go off the trail, and he can still make big plays.
All right.
By the way, I'm glad you have Bob Angelo, my friend, on the show. I bought his book. Yeah. I love it. It is fantastic. Anybody who loves the NFL, it's one of those books that you have to have in the house, and you don't have to read the whole thing at once.
Right.
You read it in little snippets. Right. It's absolutely great.
Yeah.
I bought it the old-fashioned way. I went to my Barnes & Noble in Morristown, New Jersey. I found one on the shelf. As an author, The best 4 words in an author's life are not "I read your book." They are "I bought your book." And I bought Bob's book, and it is great. Buy the book; it's great.
Excellent. All right, Sal. The matchup show this weekend on both networks, right? 6:30, 7:30. Do I have those times?
So you can stream us, get us on demand. But if you want to go linear TV, the old-fashioned way, as you and I, Pat, are,
right.
ESPN2 on Saturdays, ESPN on Sundays. Darius Butler, Greg Cosell. We film it on Friday mornings at NFL Films. It's the longest running NFL studio show in history. It's a great show.
Yeah, it certainly is. Great show. I want everybody to watch that. And this weekend, I know you're in Tampa. Are you anywhere else? Any other?
No, I am not in Tampa. I am going to the Jets and Patriots.
Okay.
And then I'll be on the beautiful 6 ABC, Channel 6 on Monday night.
All right. Excellent. Well done. All right, Sal Pal, thanks for all your time today. Appreciate it very much. We'll talk to you very soon here on This Week in Pro Football. Thanks for the Record Factbook, pal. And everybody, don't forget the Otho Davis. If you want to check that out, Sal Pal, well-deserved. The Otho Davis Scholarship Foundation sponsoring the Dick Vermeil Lifetime Achievement Award. Sal Pal is the recipient, and well-deserved indeed for a long and distinguished career in sports and the National Football League. When we get back, Sean Green. We're going to talk with Sean, of course, the head of SGPN Sports and Bet SGPN. We're going to talk to Sean about a mystifying field goal last week that I want Sean's opinion on, and how about some props for Week 3. We'll do that next on This Week in Pro Football.